Before it, political wars erupted, countries boycotted each other, and others prepared for war. The most modern weapons in the world have heightened the conflict between Washington and Moscow. Terrifying missile systems capable of turning the skies of countries into areas forbidden to flying and missiles. Sometimes, they may prevent the smallest aircraft from flying. The Russian S500 defense system was called Prometheus, or what is known as the god of war in Greek mythology, and Russia described it as the weapon that will clip the nails of the United States and shoot down its satellites. The Russian S500 air defense system, which has exceeded all defense standards in effect so far, has received and deployed the Russian S500 long-range defense system, which greatly enhances its ability to intercept hypersonic missiles that fly at speeds of up to 10 Mach, such as the ATACMS missiles that Russia shot down in the past few days. This system was developed by the Russian defense company ATACMS to be able to target targets at distances ranging from 5 to 600 kilometers, making it the most advanced long-range air defense system in history. Russia Today newspaper headlined, "What is the S-500 system that the Russian defense minister announced would enter service in the army?" Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu announced that the Russian army will receive the first models of the new generation S-500 air defense system this year. It is worth noting that the S-500 Prometheus is capable of destroying both aerodynamic and ballistic targets, including medium-range missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, hypersonic cruise missiles, low-Earth orbit missiles, satellites, strike drones and strategic aircraft of the enemy. The system can detect targets at a distance of 800 kilometers. Its range of action is 600 kilometers at an altitude of up to 250 kilometers. Experts are also convinced that the S-500 Prometheus is capable of shooting down small meteorites that could pose a threat to the population and ground infrastructure facilities. However, the system is not without some weaknesses. The editor-in-chief of the Arms Export magazine, Andrei Frolov, said that the system needs to be protected by small and medium-range air defense systems, such as the Buk, Tor, and Panzer, otherwise it can be targeted by simple means of attack of the enemy. The system consists of a command center, an anti-missile section with anti-missiles and long-range radar, and an anti-aircraft section with radar missiles. It operates on wheeled platforms and can also be transported by military transport aircraft. The Arab defense website newspaper titled, "What do we know about the new Russian S-500 Prometheus system?" The newspaper said. Arab defense website April 25, 2024. With Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu announcing that the Russian army will soon begin receiving and deploying the S-500 Prometheus long-range defense system this year, many observers are wondering about the capabilities and advantages of this system compared to its predecessors, S-400 and S-300. The S-500 system is a new generation of Russian air defense systems, classified by Russia as a fifth-generation system, and is designed to intercept intercontinental ballistic missiles. According to Russian sources, it will also significantly enhance the Russian military's ability to intercept hypersonic missiles traveling at speeds of up to Mach 10. The transfer of this unique air defense system to the Russian military was first announced in September 2021, once its tests were officially completed. According to Russian media, a brigade of S-500 systems was on combat duty near Moscow. 3 years ago, Russia also announced that the state-owned Almaz-Antey company, which is developing the S-500 systems, had received a contract for 10 such systems with deliveries scheduled to begin in the first half of 2022. It should be noted that all developments in the early 2000s in the Russian Federation were based on developments in the Soviet Union in the 1980s. Despite this, work on the S-500 system was constantly delayed. The plan was to start testing in 2010 and complete it by 2015, to start serial production in 2014, and to complete the delivery of 10 systems by 2020. But it was decided to postpone this for 10 years. It is worth noting that the S500 is not a new system, but the result of further development of the Soviet S-300V and S-400 systems. If we look at the missiles for the S-500 system, we can see the 40N-6M missile from the S-400 system, as well as the new 77N-6N missile, which is a copy of the 9M82 missile from the S-300V system, but with a more powerful first stage. The task of the 40N-6 is to shoot down aerodynamic targets. However, to use it at a range of 380 kilometers, it is necessary to use the A-50 airborne early warning and control aircraft. The task of the 77N-6N is to combat ballistic missiles with a range of 500 to 600 kilometers. Sky News Arabia headlined: Hunting targets in space. What are the specifications of the Russian S-500? The newspaper said. After Moscow announced last week the success of the experimental launch of the new missile system, S-500, Western reports stated that the new Russian air defense system raises great American and Western concerns, to the point of describing its success as a catastrophe and a real threat. So what are the specifications of this system? And why does it raise concerns for Washington and the West in general? The Russian Ministry of Defense describes the S-500 system as unparalleled in the world, and designed to defeat the full spectrum of current and promising air attack weapons. According to a statement by the ministry, following the successful launch test a few days ago, the anti-aircraft missile system is believed to be one of the most cost-effective means of confronting high-speed missiles that exceed the speed of sound. Direct threats. While the West lags behind Russia in developing such weapons, it is expected to pose an increasing threat to countries outside the scope of Western influence, according to a report published by the website Military Watch magazine, which specializes in military affairs, spoke at the same time about the superiority of the system over American hypersonic aircraft such as the State Route 72. While it is still uncertain how far it will be deployed, or when it will be marketed for export to some major potential customers, including China, India, and Algeria. According to the report, the S-500 system, which was tested by targeting a high-speed Mach ballistic missile, was delayed in entering service for more than 4 years, due to the system's required specifications that have become more ambitious to confront emerging threats from the air and hypersonic weapons. According to the site, the system is unique in Russia, and is not an extension of any previous generation of Russian weapons systems, and despite some initial speculation, it has been confirmed that it will not replace the A-135 ballistic missile system or the S-400 air defense system. The War Zone newspaper headlined: This is our first look at Russia's new S-500 air defense system in action. The newspaper said. The Russian armed forces are currently conducting pre-service trials of the S-500 system, after which the system will begin operational deployment, initially as part of the defense umbrella surrounding the capital, Moscow. The system, dubbed Prometheus in Russian, as well as Triumphator-M, is expected to replace the current A-135 anti-ballistic missile system deployed around Moscow, as well as complement the S-400 Triumph long-range surface-to-air missile system in service with the Russian aerospace forces. The Defense Ministry said in a statement that the S-500 anti-aircraft missile system has no analogs in the world and is designed to defeat the entire spectrum of existing and promising space-based air attack weapons of a potential enemy at the entire range of altitudes and speeds. The Military Watch magazine headlined: After 4 years of delay, Russia's revolutionary S-500 air defense system will join the army in 2021. The Defense Express headlined. Moscow tests the S-500 Prometheus air defense system capable of shooting down hypersonic missiles. The Kremlin-controlled Izvestia newspaper reported that the Russian armed forces conducted live firing tests of the S-500 Prometheus surface-to-air missile system. The newspaper claims that the system is capable of intercepting existing and still developing weapons that travel at speeds more than 5 times the speed of sound. The article specifically says that the S-500 air defense system has proven during tests its ability to intercept hypersonic air targets, such as typical weapons currently being developed as part of the latest missile programs in the West, or re-entry vehicles for intercontinental ballistic missiles, or short-range ballistic missiles. The International Interest newspaper headlined. S-500, Russian F-35 fighter killer coming next year. The Agenzia Nova newspaper headlined. Russian company Almazanteg S-500 missile system has entered serial production. According to the general director of the company that developed and manufactured the complex, Yen Novikov, the combat capabilities of the new system are much higher than those created previously. The TASS newspaper headlined. The start of serial production of missiles for the S-500 air defense system in Russia. The Janes newspaper headlined. S-500 enters service in the Moscow region.